the studio and get this show rolling.
Welcome, one and all. Seven and a Hook Podcast, your Irish insider, Patrick Brooks, alongside me, Easy Money, on this beautiful, beautiful Thursday evening. Patrick, how are you doing, buddy?
And I'm good, man. It's Thursday night. It's seven and a hook night. That's kind of how we look at it here in sports betting land. So, yeah, good to be back on air with you. Really excited about tonight's show and this week. I mean, obviously, we're going to be talking a little NBA. We got some college football. That's right, it's bowl season, Eric. I love this time of year. I mean, this is like March Madness to me. And then we're going to end with our NFL with our spotlight plays. So, yeah. So how you been? Doing all right?
I've been doing good, man. You know, a little this, a little that, lots of stuff at work, and, you know, a little this, a little that. We're trying to... all this NFL news lately and all kinds of stuff happening with coaching changes and firings, and we have some prospective huge blockbuster trades that are on the table right now, so it's kind of like the silly season for the NFL, you could say, I guess.
Yeah, you got that right. I mean, obviously the big story today was Urban Meyer, right? See you later, sayonara.
Yes.
Don't let the door hit you on the backside on the way out, right? I mean, seriously, do you think he? And you and I talked about this a few weeks ago. We thought he was kind of forcing his way out.
Yeah, we did.
I actually think the owner may have waited too long. I think he gave Urban Myers way too much time with this team. I really do.
Well, I think if we go back a few months to our pre-season show for the NFL, we kind of said, you know, the two things that were glaring out to us is that Trevor Lawrence, the number one pick in this year's draft, and probably would have been the number one pick in the last three drafts had he committed, and Urban Meyer weren't used to losing. Now, that being said, what prompted Urban Meyer's firing was the kicker claiming he had kicked him in the shin, among other things, and now a couple players are coming forward saying the same thing. I don't know if it's out of frustration. I've never been an Urban Meyer fan. Don't really follow his coaching style too much, but he's always been on the arrogant side to me. But with that being said, losing, what are they, 2-12 or something like that, and 2-11. You know, when you're used to you know, he might have lost 11 or 12 games in his coaching career in college. So to do that in one season. You know, this might have been a blessing in disguise for him. Maybe, you know, who really knows what's going through Urban Meyer's head, but certainly not the Jacksonville Jaguars playbook now. So I don't know. He'll land obviously in a top tier college program again.
Yeah.
He'll go back there.
Yeah, let's not shed a tear from he got $50 million on the way out. You know?
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, what a great situation.
Yep.
You get fired. You're banking $50 million. Now, granted, if he goes and takes I'm sure in his contract, if he gets back into college, he doesn't get all $50 mil. But he's walking away with tens of millions of dollars for coaching 13 games in the NFL. I mean, who's really the dummy? Us or him? I don't know. You know?
Certainly not him. You know, obviously he doesn't want to go out. He doesn't want to go out that way, obviously, but you know, it is what it is. I mean,
he'll be back. He'll be back in the college ranks.
Yeah.
I don't see him coming back to the NFL.
I don't think he wants to come back to the NFL, to be honest with you. That was a short dose of reality of what the big boys do in coaching. I mean, you know, he'll coach a top tier, top 5 college program. They'll excel. He'll get a national championship or two out of it. But what you really got to be kind of feeling sorry for, or not really feeling sorry for, but just wondering what's going to happen is Trevor Lawrence's career. I mean, the kid comes from college as probably the highest touted quarterback in history of college football, it seemed like. So now he's in a broken program. what there's no short-term fix for the Jaguars. They're a bad team. And I know bad teams, trust me. I'm a New York Giants fan. What's Lawrence do? He's built like a Greek god, 6'6", 240. But what you don't want is you don't want him to turn into another Ryan Leaf. And you get a bad attitude, you lose, you do things detrimental to your career and your team. And the next thing you know, you're a liability and you're out of there. So hopefully Trevor Lawrence still stays the course because he does have a ton of talent.
Yeah.
But
it's the owners of the Jaguars now have to make the right decision. Okay, they got to get the right head coach.
But
Because otherwise, you might as well trade away Trevor Lawrence and just get draft picks. Because this kid needs a good coach. Because he's still one heck of a player. He needs a good foundation around him, and hopefully it happens. But
yeah,
anyways, all right. So let's get to tonight's agenda. What's on the menu? We talked about. We're gonna kick it off with our NBA fast break segment, and Eric's got a couple games on the NBA card tonight that he wants to break down. So Eric, what do you got for our loyal listeners?
well, we have the New York Knicks traveling all the way to Houston to battle the Rockets. This is a battle of two teams that are starting to. Well, actually, it's a tale of two different teams with the Houston Rockets. They start out with a horrible, horrible losing streak, and in the last 10 games, they've gone 7-3. So, overall record of 9-19. So that tells you what they were before the recent, fairly successful 10-game stretch here. Knicks are a 5.5-point favorite. The over/under is 216. So you're going to want to take the Knicks, and you're going to want to take the under on that. The Knicks showed some explosiveness early in the season with Julius Randle, and you had some other people step up, but they've since cooled down. They were actually first in the East through the first 10 games, and now they're 12th. So that tells you where they are. They're 12-16. Last 10 games for the New York Knickerbockers, 2-8. So they are riding a tough last 10 games. We're going to see who the Knicks are, I guess. Are the Knicks capable of beating a surging Rockets team? A Rockets team that's not that great, to be honest with you.
No.
The Rockets are kind of they're not throwing in the towel because we're still early in the season, but they're thinking ahead of 2021-22. And the Knicks are a win now organization. They've sunk a lot of money. They finally opened their checkbook up. I was having this discussion with one of our insiders the other day, is that there's no New York team, professional sports team, whether it be the Islanders, the Rangers, Giants, Jets, name them all, Mets and Yankees. There's not a single New York team, being the second largest market in sports, that should be struggling. But yet it always seems like the Yankees, who are coincidentally the only organization that really wants to spend the money, it seems like. But the Giants are pathetic. The Jets have been pathetic for over a decade. The Mets are the Mets. What can you say? They had the Subway Series back, what was it, 2000, I think?
It could have been 50 years ago.
Yeah, whatever it was. They haven't. And then the Mets doing what the Mets do. This is baseball, I know, but we got to just really touch real quick. You throw $140 million to Max Scherzer from the Dodgers for a 3-year contract. He's 37 years old. That's a very Mets thing to do. Okay, I mean Max is a phenomenal pitcher, but he's 37 years old. So let's Anyway,
Eric, that's desperation. You and I talked about that off. That's desperation. That's not preparation. It is. I'm sorry. Okay.
No, it's not. You're right, and it's just. So the Knicks are traveling to Houston. I would take the Knicks. They're going to cover the 5.5, and I would also take the under. The over/under is 216. They're not going to hit that. Next game is Washington Wizards traveling to Phoenix.
Before you go to the next game,
Yeah.
Not to interrupt you, but okay. Coach Thibodeau, okay?
Yeah.
He benched Kemba Walker like 10 games ago.
Yep.
They've gone 10-8 since they benched him.
Yeah.
What's going? Is I mean, I've been trying to. You got any insiders? Is there something going on there? Because I can't. I made some calls and I just don't know.
Thibodeau is searching for team chemistry, and you have to start with your PG, your point guard, your number one, your ball handler, which in the NBA is a totally different game than when you and I were really into it in the 80s and 90s when you had Magic, Bird, Jordan, Jabbar. You had all those all those players, and you had a designated point guard that would bring the ball up, set a half court offense. It's a different game. It's a you have 6'9". I mean, you got Giannis and Akupo. He's 6'11". Some say 7 foot, and he's running the one. He's running the point guard, dribbling the ball from end to end. It's like 25 years ago, 30 years ago, you didn't see that. So I think Thibodeau, Kemba Walker's obviously a classic point guard. He's trying to find a chemistry. Kemba will eventually, he's a starter. He'll eventually make his way back into the starting rotation. But success does breed change. So when you start out as good as the Knicks did, I mean, for a millisecond there, they were talking about, wow, the Knicks, they may make the playoffs this year, and they may go places, and now they're laboring in the East in the 12th spot. So he's searching. I mean, he might feel on the hot seat a little bit. He's got a lot of talent there, and they haven't quite put the pieces together. But that's what's going on there. He's just searching for a little consistency. I mean, Kemba's still getting his minutes, so. But I got nothing from any of our scouts or anything saying anything. So I think it's just it's a experiment type of deal. Okay, second game real quick. Washington Wizards travel to Phoenix to play the Mighty Suns. Monty Williams' team, reigning coach of the year. They are 22-5. They had an 18-game winning streak earlier in the year. 8-2 in their last 10. They're an 8.5-point favorite over the Wizards. Wizards are not that bad. 15-14. They are 3-7 in their last 10. They sit 8th in the East, which is a playoff spot if the playoffs were to start today. Suns are second. They're fighting it out with the Golden State Warriors, who are just a half a game better at this point. But Phoenix, you have CP3, Chris Paul. What more can you say about this guy? He is incredible. He's so underrated. It's hard to put into words. If you look at Chris Paul's stats, they're unbelievable. He's still scoring. He's scoring like 14 a clip. The assists he's first in the league in assists at 10.1, I believe. And he's just, the steals are there. The rebounds are there for a 6'3" guy. He gets in there. He's not afraid to mix it up in paint. DeAndre Ayton. You got Devin Booker. The Suns are loaded for now. So the Suns are going to be, of course, they were in the finals last year. So it's not like they're just surprising people now. But they are the mighty Phoenix Suns. Washington comes in. You get Bradley Beal just signing a pretty good extension for Washington. The over-under is 219 is what my line says. You're going to take Phoenix. They're going to cover easy 8.5, and you're going to take the over. It's going to be a pretty good shootout. You got two teams that can shoot the three ball, and there's going to be a lot of running and gunning. So my picks real quick are take the Knicks. They're going to cover the 5.5 and take the under on that game, and take the Phoenix. They're an 8.5 point favorite. Take that and take the over 219. So that's real quick on the NBA, Pat.
Good play. Yeah. Before I move on to my the two bowl games I'm going to cover today, got to give credit to Steph Curry. You know what? Taking over the 3-point shooting title over Ray Allen the other night. You know, I love him or hate him, man. That guy can shoot, and he shoots with the best of them, right, Eric? I mean, come on. You gotta take your hat off to him.
Just to interject a little bit, I was watching that particular game, and they were doing warm-ups. And, well, actually, let me step back. A little known fact, I actually played basketball with Ray Allen. He was in high school. I was on the Air Force Base. His dad was military. And he was a high school junior. I think he was about 5'9" or 5'10" at that time. And when he stepped on the court, all of us knew there's something special here. He probably could have took all 5 of us on and whipped our butts. But anyway, so with Steph Curry, they were doing warm-ups, and he was literally spotting up 1 foot inside the half-court logo. And just like, not trying to be funny, he hit 4 in a row. Now that is around a 34-foot shot, 35-foot. Maybe even, he might have been out a little further, 36, 37-foot. When you spot up, now Steph is not a big guy. 6'3", 185 pounds. And I've never seen in my lifetime, I've never seen a more prolific outside shooter. And we've seen the best of them. We've seen Bird, we've seen Magic, we've seen Jordan, we've seen Mark Price, John Paxson, Steve Kerr. But then you got Steph Curry, where his range is limitless. It's incredible. Reggie Miller. I watched him score 16 points in 94 seconds against the Knicks in Madison Square Garden. And it's, I don't know. I mean, Steph Curry, hats off to you, my friend. You did it in like 600 less games than Ray Allen, too, so.
And again, I think it's going to be a long time before somebody knocks him off that mantle.
Yeah, he's not even close to being done yet, so.
No, he's not. He's just getting started. You know what I mean? If you think about it.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
yeah.
All right. So, congrats to Curry. Let's move on to college football. I got a couple bowl games I'm going to break down tonight. And just for those that are interested, yes, we will be breaking down every single college football game. May not be in full episodes. Maybe doing some kind of quick hitter videos that Eric and I do during the week. But we will have plays on all the bowl games throughout the season. So, all right, we're going to go to the Bahama Bowl, Eric. It's this Friday night, 17. It is Friday afternoon, 12 noon game on ESPN. You got Middle Tennessee, the Blue Raiders, taking on the Toledo Rockets. Okay, the Rockets are favored by 10. Points total set at 50 and a hook. All right, Middle Tennessee, they came into this game 6-6. They finished 4th in Conference USA East, okay? 29 points a game, they let up 25. They're led by Chase Cunningham, quarterback. 16 touchdowns on the year, only 3 picks. His number one target, Jimmy Marshall. Over 500 yards receptions, 500 yards receiving, and over six touchdowns, all right? Toledo Rockets, they came into this game 7-5. They finished 3rd in the MAC West, okay? 34 points a game, only let up 21. Quarterback DeQuan Finn, 16 touchdowns, only 1 interception. This kid does not turn the ball over. They also have a prolific running attack led by Bryant Koback, over 1,200 yards rushing, 15 touchdowns on the season. All right, Middle Tennessee State, head coach Rick Stovak. He's been there since 2006. He's taken the team to 7 bowls, 2 wins, 5 losses. Not very good bowl appearance record. Now they have been to the Bahama Bowl, so this isn't new to them. They were there in 2015. They lost to Western Michigan, a MAC team, 45-31. Now we look at the Toledo Rockets. Head coach Jason Candle. Now he's been there since 2016. He's taken the Rockets to 4 bowls. Again, not a very good winning record, 1-3 in bowls. They've also been to the Bahama Bowl. So again, this isn't new to them. 2018 they were there. They lost 35-32 to FIU. All right. When I look at bowl games, I look at if they have, some common opponents, or I really look at strength of schedule. Okay. I look at ball control. I look at running path. I try to look at everything because it's hard to, gauge these teams. So I look at Toledo. All right. The MAC, very competitive conference, a lot of scoring, a lot of good teams that are in bowls this year. Well, Toledo was number 1 in offense and number 1 in defense in the MAC, okay? And they played a pretty good out-of-conference schedule. One game that jumps out at me, they played Notre Dame, okay? With a minute 30 to go in the game, Eric, they were up, okay? 29-24 with a minute to go against Notre Dame. Notre Dame scored a late touchdown, won that game, 32-29. Toledo will be up for this game, okay? I'm going to lay the points. I'm going to lay the 10. I know that's a lot of points in a bowl game. They're a better team. They've got a better offense, and they've got a better defense. I'm going to lay the 10, and I'm going up. I'm looking over 50 and a book points, okay? Next game, on my college sheet here. It's called the Tail Greeter Sure Bowl, and that's coming from Orlando, Florida. Now that is also Friday. It's a 6 p.m. game. Northern Illinois Huskies. They're going to take on the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, which again, I don't know what a Chanticleer is, but I know Coastal Carolina is pretty good. Right?
Yes.
That's probably the worst name in college football.
Definitely sounds it.
No offense. Yeah, it's just not tough, right? It's just not.
No.
It sounds like a chandelier, which really aren't that tough. But anyways, Coastal Carolina, they're favored by 11. Points total set at 63. Northern Illinois, they went 9-4 this year. They were the MAC champions. Got to give them credit. They beat Kent State to get the MAC championship, 41-23. Okay. Now, you know how we talk about certain people are born with the right names and they end up in the right profession?
Yep.
Well, that's Northern Illinois' quarterback. His name, no lie, Rocky Lombardi. Okay, like the kid was born to play football. Rocky Lombardi, quarterback for Northern Illinois. He's pretty good too. Threw for 2,400 yards, 13 touchdowns, 8 picks. Number one receiver, Travion Rudolph. Over 800 yards receptions, 7 touchdowns. They scored 31 points a game, led up 32. Coastal Carolina, they come into this game 10-2, third in the Sun Belt East. Quarterback, Grayson McCall, 2,500 yards passing, 23 touchdowns, 3 picks. This guy's going to be playing on Sundays at some point. All right, his number one target, Javion Haley. Over 1,000 yards passing. He's got 7 touchdowns. All right, Chanticleers score 40 points a game. They only let up 20. All right, so the Huskies. All right, they're led by head coach Thomas Hammock. He's been there since 2019. This is his first bowl appearance, and it's his first MAC championship. So I got to give the Huskies credit. Last year, Eric, they were 0-6. Okay, 0-6 in the COVID-shortened season. They win the MAC this year. Got to give them credit. Okay, Chanticleers. Head coach Jamie Chadwell. He's been there also since 2019. This is his third bowl appearance. He's 1-1 so far. They were in the same bowl last year, okay, and they lost. Liberty beat them 37-34. Coastal, I'm sure, not everybody follows Coastal, but they were ranked as high as 15th in the nation earlier this year, okay? This is a good football team. They lost 2 games by a combined total of 5 points. 5 points. If they win those 2 games, they're 12-0, and seriously, you're talking to them maybe playing in a college football playoff. They're a good team, okay? Don't sleep on this team. I like them in this spot. Again, people know that follow the show. I play dogs more than I play favorites. I like both favorites in this game. I'm going to lay the 10, and I'm going over. I'm going over the, over 63 in this game. Northern Illinois does like to run the ball, but they can also score. There's going to be some points, but Coastal's going to cover this game, Eric.
Very in-depth college from the Irish Insider. I used to like to call you Brooksy, but you've changed nicknames without any express written consent from the NFL or the NBA or the NHL. So I guess he's the Irish Insider, folks. That means that the graphic right below his 7 and hook logo on his shirt will have to say the Irish Insider instead of Brooksy from now on. But as always, man, great in-depth knowledge. I tell you. Thank God for you, because we wouldn't do any college football if it was me. I'm telling you. You are the master of college football. So thank you for that in-depth analysis.
Listen, play the ticks, go cash some ticks. Play the picks, go cash some ticks. That's what we say.
Something like that, right?
Something like that. Just go win the money.
Okay? Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All right, hey, what do you got on the NFL spotlight? What do you got for your...
All right, well, before I start off with my 3 games I'm going to highlight and showcase, there is some news today that came out in the NFL, not the Urban Meyer firing, but better news, bigger news, I should say. And that is the possible trade of a franchise quarterback. A quarterback that is a perennial Pro Bowler. And I'm talking about the disgruntled Seattle Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson wants out of Seattle. Not sure why. They're having a dismal season, yes, but he's had much more success. Super Bowl champion. And ironically enough, or surprisingly enough, not really ironic, but surprisingly enough, he wants to go to one of three teams total, and one of them being the New York Football Giants. Which, cool. Of course, Seattle's the price tag for Mr. Wilson would be blank, 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 and a guy named Barkley.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So, with that being said, Joe Judge, the New York Giants coach today, said that we're going to go with Daniel Jones. Now, you can interpret that for what you want. Joe Judge, I don't believe, makes any real decisions there of any value. Still not a Joe Judge fan. I don't buy into the system. But as far as I don't think he holds the power to really, say yay or nay. Would Wilson be a great fit for Giants? Well, Wilson would be a great fit anywhere. However, he is middle 30s, and it would cost you your star running back, who's already proven himself, and he's just coming back from injury. So actually, the injured legs are young legs still. Look what Adrian Peterson did in the 3 or 4 years after he came back from his suspension. He had young legs. As a running back, you want young legs. Barkley's still a young guy, so he's got rookie legs. If I'm playing GM for the Giants, I am not making that trade. And I'm not saying Russell Wilson wouldn't immediately help the Giants. I think obviously, I know obviously he's a much better playmaker than Daniel Jones. He's much better making something out of nothing than Daniel Jones, and that seems to be a big need for the Giants. But anyway, that's just a rumor mill I'm hearing. So my first game I'm going to highlight and showcase is the Dallas Cowboys traveling to East Rutherford, New Jersey to take on the New York Football Giants. A divisional game. Dallas is an 11-point favorite going in. Over-under is 44 and a hook. It's kind of a tale of two teams again. I mean, here we go. Dallas comes in 9-4, Giants are 4-9. Okay, Dallas is 5-2 away, including a dramatic victory up in Minnesota a few weeks ago. Giants are 3-3 at home. Okay, so they're defending their home turf. Okay. Dallas has won 2 in a row. Giants have lost 2 in a row. Dallas has a quarterback named Dak Prescott coming off a major injury and looking like he never left. Last week was a little sketchy for them. He passed for 211 yards, one TD, 2 picks with a 58 QBR. Daniel Jones is hurt. He's going to miss the 3rd game in a row this coming week, according to Joe Judge. Mike Glennon is the fill-in. Not sure if how the injury bug has hit Glennon or not, but last week he wasn't great. He was a serviceable quarterback. They lost to the Chargers, but Glennon went 17 for 36 for 191, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Glennon's not the answer. He's got a big-time losing record as a starting quarterback. At this point, Patrick, I don't even know if Daniel Jones is the answer, but the answer to me is they need some consistency on the O-line. Barkley showed flashes last week. He had a little bit of the flashes of the Barry Sanders move that everybody grew in New York grew to love very quickly with Saquon. So I would say he's coming along. He's progressing a little bit in steps, 85, maybe 90% right now. He had a massive injury last year, a devastating knee injury. But the fact of the matter is Dallas is a much better team than the Giants. So you're going to take Dallas, even at 11, guys. And you're going to take, you know my mantra with the Giants. I've said it many times. Take the under. Okay, well, last week, unfortunately, they did hit the over. But I'm going to take the over here as well because Dallas is definitely a quick score team with Amari Cooper, Galloway, and you have CeeDee Lamb, excuse me. So take Dallas, traveling to, I just hate to say it. God, I hate to say it. The Giants suck. I'm sorry. There's no other way around it. There's no other adjective you could use. They stink. So take the over. with Dallas, and they're going to cover their 11. And yes, this is a face. This this is a face of a Giants fan, and there's no other way around it. We don't sugarcoat anything here at 7 and a Hook. We're fans of everybody, every player, every team. But growing up, I was a Giants fan in the Bill Parcells era, and it was really an unbelievable time to be a Giants fan. And now, not so much. So that's my first game. We're going to Dallas and the over.
Dallas and the over. Okay.
Yep.
All right. My first game on my NFL spotlight sheet, I've got the Raiders favored by 3 and a Hook on the road, travel to take on the Cleveland Browns. Now the Browns points total set at 37. The Raiders come into this game 6-7. They're 3-3 on the road. They're losers 5 out of their last 6. Okay. Last week they traveled to Kansas City and they literally got trounced by the Chiefs.
Yeah.
8-9. I mean,
Yeah.
they didn't lay 1 egg. They laid about a dozen eggs.
That game got away very quickly. Yeah.
Yeah. That was an avalanche from jump. Okay, and the Raiders got covered with snow. So, listen, they were completely embarrassed. I mean, and that is a divisional game, Eric. I mean, if you're not up for that, you're in trouble. So
Yep.
They had 260 yards passing. They only had 44 yards on the ground. The best stat they had 5 turnovers. They turned the ball over 5 times. I mean, that's ugly, right? I mean, listen, you and I could go get 9 guys off the street, and if the Raiders turn the ball 5 times on us, we might beat them. I mean, that's just the fact. You can't turn the ball over 5 times.
No.
You just can't.
Nope.
You know, embarrassing. Now, the Browns, okay, they come into this game 7-6. They're coming off a big divisional win over the Ravens last week, 24-22. They needed to win. They keep pace with the Ravens. They're only 1 game back now. Okay. Now, there's a third competitor in this game. You got the Raiders, you got the Browns, you got the COVID-19. They're coming in for an appearance. Okay.
Everywhere.
I'll tell you what, everywhere. Okay. As of showtime here, the Browns have about 14 or 15 players out. Okay, including Baker Mayfield, starting quarterback. Case Keenum came down with COVID right before we went on air. Okay, so they're down 2 quarterbacks. Eric, you remember Nick Mullins? Is that name ringing a bell? Probably not, right?
No.
Well, starting quarterback this weekend for the Browns, Nick Mullins. Okay, out of Southern Miss, been in the league 4 years. He has 12 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 38 quarterback rating. He was with the 49ers for a couple of years.
I guess Bernie Kosar wasn't available.
No, they called him. But he's actually doing sports betting now. So he's in our profession. Okay?
Yes.
So anyway, listen, their head coach has COVID. Kevin Stefanski for the Browns. So they've got some COVID issues, and that's an understatement. Now this line opened up, Eric. The Browns were favored by 6 and a Hook. Okay, it's now the Raiders favored by 3 and a Hook. That's a 10-point swing. That's big. I mean, that's
Well,
really
Mayfield's gone and Keenum's gone. So.
Keenum's gone. Yep. The points total is down to 37. Okay, it opened up at 43 and a Hook. Okay, so why did I pick this game? This is a tough game to catch up. Okay, but I look at this. Okay, good teams at home in December win. Okay? Good teams in December that are going to the playoffs, and I still think the Browns are going to the playoffs. So, yes, they're going to be down both their quarterbacks, but Nick Chubb is not out. Okay?
No.
Look for a healthy dose of Nick Chubb. Handoff. Nick Mullins is not going to be hucking and chucking. He's going to be handing the ball off. The Raiders' defense can't stop me if I have the ball. Okay? So the Browns are going to run out the clock. I'm going to say that, okay? It's going to be a low-scoring game. I'm going to take the Browns getting 3 and a Hook at home, and I'm going under. I'm looking down. I'm going under the 37. And the other reason, Eric, is what I said before. The Raiders, they couldn't get up for a road game last week against the Chiefs. Now we're going to ask them to go on the road again. It's going to be cold up there in Cleveland. I just don't. I think they're done. And guess what? The week after, they play the Broncos. So this is a tough spot for the Raiders. Even though COVID-19 may be the toughest competitor on the field, I'm still going to take the Browns with the points, and I'm going under the 37.
I'd agree with that, for sure.
Oh, and one prop play, I forgot. Josh Jacobs, running back for the Raiders, and Nick Chubb, running back for the Browns. Combined, over 149 yards rushing. I like that prop bet. I'm going to play that.
Wow, that's a gimme. What's it paying?
It was a plus 125, I think, something like that. It was a nice odds boost. Definitely some value.
That's definitely a playable bet. Okay, let's turn our attention to the Tennessee Titans traveling up to the Steel City to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Titans come in a 1-point favorite. They're coming in 9-4. Steelers are 6-6. Titans are 4-2 away, so they're showing pretty good stout on the road. And the Steelers are 4-2 at home. Titans have won one. Steelers have lost one in a row. Steelers had a heartbreak last week, even though Big Ben had well over 200 yards in the second half and 3 touchdowns. They still lost. Tennessee last week shut out the Jacksonville Jaguars 20-0, which may have prompted the kick from Urban Meyer. I don't know. But, the over-under is 43 for this game, which to me is a little bit high. I don't know what Steelers team we're going to see. That's the problem. When you pick these kind of games, are you going to see the Steelers team that went into Buffalo and put a smackdown on the Bills in Week 1, or are you going to see Pittsburgh, who has lost 1 in a row and actually has lost 4 out of the last 6? What team is going to show up? I got to think at home. Tomlin's going to have them ready. The first half of last week, Roethlisberger looked like he was 55, 60 years old. I don't know what happened at halftime. He comes out looking like he's 25, throwing the ball everywhere. So maybe Ben is getting his confidence back. Tannehill comes in. Of course, they're minus Derrick Henry, the most prolific rusher in the NFL in the last 3 years. Which, boy, oh boy, to be 9-4 without Derrick Henry, I wouldn't have guessed it.
No.
Coming off a shutout victory, I think Steelers win outright, and I'm going to take the under on that one. I don't trust Tannehill. He had 0 touchdowns, 0 picks last week. Really mediocre game. 191 yards passing. He was there. Even though they won 20-0, I know that they're playing a decimated Jacksonville team, so you really didn't need to go Eric Coryell. Some of you will get that reference. You need to go Eric Coryell on him, but Tannehill. Now you got to remember, folks. Last year he was like, where did Ryan Tannehill come from? 33 touchdowns, 7 picks, 106 QB rating. This year, 14 TDs, 13 picks, 84 QBR. Mediocre. A serviceable quarterback. Usually takes care of the ball, but he's had a little bit of fumbles this year. They're going to go in. Pittsburgh's defense is going to just stymie them a little bit, I think. And you're going to see a little bit of running game with Najee Harris for Pittsburgh. And I think that Steelers are going to win. Yeah, I think it's a touchdown to a 10-point game, and I think it's going to be the under for that. So take Pittsburgh in the under is my go on that. Definitely. 43 for a Steelers game is too high.
Yeah. Listen, Steelers are tough at home, and
Absolutely.
Well,
you have the Heinz Field advantage, which the wind always. It's like they control the wind in that stadium. It's crazy. So if you need a field goal at Heinz Stadium, good luck.
Yeah, and Eric and I do have some feet on the streets. It hasn't been announced, but there's some talk that this could literally be Big Ben's last season. And I know he hasn't made an announcement, and we're not breaking any news. Like I said, we just got some moles, and there's some shakings and bakings that he may go out this year. So he's only got a few games left. So
Yeah.
look for him to do a lot of damage when he can at home. So okay. All right, my next game on my NFL Spotlight sheet is the Carolina Panthers on the road travel to take on the Buffalo Bills. Now the Bills are favored at Showtime by 10 and a hook. Points total set at 44 and a hook. Panthers 5-8 on the season, losers of 3 straight. Last week at home they lost to Matty Ryan, and the Falcons 29-21. So far, the Cam Newton come back to the NFL and come back to the Panthers experiment has fizzled. Okay, he's 0-3 as a starter, and last 2 weeks, Eric, 5 turnovers on his watch. Okay, so I think needless to say, Superman. He ain't so super no.
Well,
okay, but for whatever reason,
what a surprise
he's
too.
getting the start again. He's getting the start again. I don't understand it, but again, at this point,
Well,
Sam Darnold isn't back yet, so let him play. Right?
Let me ask you a question real quick before you get into your breakdown. I mean, who's better for Carolina right now than Cam Newton for quarterback? You know, they don't have anybody.
Me, I guess.
Well, you are a 100% completion ratio, so there's that. Like I like to say when I describe you to people, Patrick, is that not all heroes wear capes. So, okay. I'll shut up.
I get it. I think
yes.
The Panthers are playing for next year. I get it.
Yeah.
I just listen. I like Cam Newton. Listen, I've never.
No, you don't.
Liked him. Well, yeah. Well, I liked him when he was on the Patriots. I liked him then. But anyway, that's a topic for another discussion. Anyways, let me finish the breakdown. All right, the Bills. They come into this game 7-6, losers of 2 straight. Last week, they lost 33-27 in overtime to the Tampa Bay Bucks at Tampa. Josh Allen had a pretty good game, over 300 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Unfortunately, he was outdueled by who? The GOAT, Tommy Brady, 363 in the air, 2 touchdowns, and one of those touchdowns was in overtime. And you can't bet against Tommy Brady. You just can't. Okay, the guy just doesn't stop, and he produces. All right, so now the Bills. I kind of looked at their history, and they always seem to have one game in December. Okay, whether they're in the playoffs or not, good team, bad team, they just blow people out at home in December because that's a tough place to go. Okay, and especially when they play teams from warm weather states in December. Well, guess what? The Bills are a good team. They're playing at home in December. They need this win because, listen, they're fighting for their playoff lives, and Carolina stinks. Okay? I like the Bills in this spot. I'm going to lay the 10 and a hook. And as far as the points total, Eric, I'm going over. I'm going over 44 and a hook. Why? Because the Bills are going to tune their engine, and they're going to let it rip on Carolina. And you know what? Next week, they play the Patriots. The Bills got to get it right this week, and they need to win because they're playing the Pats next week. Take the Bills, lay the 10 and a hook, over 44 and a hook.
Well, they just played the Pats too, and how'd that work out for them? Yeah, I got a lot of thoughts on the Bills. Talk about tale of 3 teams. I mean, you and I previewed them. I mean, they were going to fight for the AFC Championship against Kansas City Chiefs. Now, KC looks tough, obviously, with that huge win last week. The Bills, I mean, I guess it takes more than Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen to win the game, but man, they looked mediocre at best. They have 3 looks to them. They look like a struggling team. They look mediocre, or they look like they've won 5 out of the last 6 Super Bowls. I don't know what team you're ever going to get, and neither do the fans, and neither do the other teams. So I find it hard to believe, even though they are playing the Panthers, that they're over a double-digit favorite. Just for the way they played. I mean, if they played up to how you and I projected they would be, yeah, then no problem. I would have a 12 or 13 point favorite. I wouldn't even blink an eye. But I don't know what Bills team we're gonna get, so it's gonna be a tough one to bet. Even you got them covering. You got the over too. You said.
Yeah, I got the over. I think the Bills may score 37 themselves. So,
Wow. Okay.
If the Panthers give me 10 points, you know what? I think I'm going to be right there. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, well, my last spotlight game is the New Orleans Saints traveling to Tampa Bay to take on the mighty Buccaneers. I'm going to throw a few numbers at you here. 4,134 yards, 36 touchdowns, 10 picks. Over 4,000 yards in 11 of his last 13 seasons. 31 for 40 last week, 363, two touchdowns, no picks. 44 years old. And his age versus performance has been widely debated for the last decade. Because you got to remember, folks, the average NFL career is 2.6 years. Only 2.6 years. Not 12, 14, 2.6. This guy's in his 20th year. I mean, and I don't know if he's found the fountain of youth or what Brady's doing, but he looks like he's 30. He's playing like he's 25. This guy, Tampa Bay is an 11-point favorite. 46 and a hook, over under. The Saints coming off a win last week with Taysom Hill, looking like a Pro Bowl quarterback himself. Tampa Bay's won 4 in a row. They are perfect at home with a 6-0 record. Saints are winners on the road. They're 4-3, but it's kind of like the Saints are like a little antelope, and they're going to the edge of the brook to take a drink, and the Bucks are the crocodiles, which haven't eaten in 17 weeks. It's going to be a feast. It's going to be very high scoring, and it's going to be very high scoring by the Bucks. They're easily going to cover 11. I'm easily taking the over is going to be done at halftime. Mark that. Mark my words. 46 and a hook will be at the half. You're going to see Brady to Gronkowski for 2 scores. You're going to see Brady to Godwin, Brady to Evans. You're going to see Fournette have a couple. Tampa Bay has a chance to score 40 to 50 points this game. And the way the Saints are playing lately, they're playing more of a college football run and gun, and the wide out, and Taysom Hill is anything but a conventional quarterback. Not sure when Winston's going to be back, but I still believe that Taysom will get to start right now. But Sean Payton, head coach of the Saints, has a little bit of homework to do. You're going into the hottest team in the NFL right now with arguably a front-running MVP quarterback. I think he has 3 MVPs already or something like that. He's a 14-time Pro Bowler, 7-time Super Bowl champion. Everybody knows. I don't even need to say his name. TB12. So good luck, Saints. R.I.P. Rest in power. You're going into the Lions' den, my friend, and we ain't talking Detroit. So take Tampa Bay. They're going to cover the 11. Take the over, definitely. Do not take the under. These guys can score and score quick. So that's about it for right now. What's that?
I like your antelope and crocodile analogy. I thought we would be like Steve Irwin was going to, you know what I mean?
Oh, crikey. There goes my head and neck.
Right?
But, yeah, I mean,
I miss that guy. I know he passed away a while ago.
Yeah.
But that guy was a super entertainer, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. So, anyways, but yeah, that was good. That was kind of a little ode to Steve Irwin there.
Yeah, and that's another divisional game as well. I mean, Tampa Bay's head and shoulders above the rest of the division there, but it is a divisional game, so it always brings a little bit of extra of chutzpah. But How?
Well, I'm going to tell you how. Points total set at 44. There's this thing called COVID. All right, so it changed the line a lot from this morning. All right, Washington no names, and everybody that watches the show know that I hate that they don't have a mascot, and I keep bringing it up. No names. Anyways, they're 6-7 on the season, 3-3 on the road. Okay, now they're winners 4 of their last 5. That one loss came last week to the hands of the Dallas Cowboys, 27-21. Got to give the no names some credit because they didn't give up in that game, Eric. They were down 24-0. Ended up losing 27-21. So it's like the little engine that could. They don't quit. Okay, I'll give them. I'll at least give them that. I hate their no name, but I'll give them credit because they fight. Okay. Now, COVID. I mentioned COVID. Well, guess what? There's 21 players, okay, for Washington now, listed on the COVID protocol sheet. 21.
Wow.
Okay? They're literally going to have to go to some local high schools, maybe, and pull some guys to play, literally on the bench, because they got to have 53 guys on the sideline. So this is going to be tough. And out of those 21 players, between 11 and 13 are starters. Okay? Their entire defensive line is out. Starting defensive line is out, okay? That's a big deal. That's why the line is -9.5, okay? It opened Eagles favored by 4.5. It's now 9.5. I wouldn't doubt by game time, Eric, this is over 10. This line's going to keep going up, okay? Because more and more guys have got COVID. Right now, Taylor Heineken, as I like to call him, he does not have COVID, okay? But all his receivers do. He's going to be throwing it to himself.
Ugh.
Okay? The Washington no-names are in for a long, long day here. But anyway, sorry. So the Eagles, they come into this game 6-7. They're 1-4 at home. All right. They're on a bye week last week, so they had an extra week of rest here. Okay. Prior to the bye week, they went and played the Jets, and they beat them up 33-18. Now that was with Gardner Minshew as the quarterback because Jalen Hurts was out with an ankle injury. So the bye week was good for him, right? Got to be able to rest up, get that ankle better. Well, he's practiced this week, but he's been limited. Okay. Today he was even more limited from the practice sheet that I read. So he's going to sit out. Okay. So Gardner Minshew is going to be the quarterback again this week. And you know what? The COVID situation played right into Jalen Hurts not having to play. I don't think he needs to play in this game, Eric. The Eagles are still going to win this game without him. And that's not because the Washington no-names are a bad team. It's just they don't have a team. Okay? So I'm going to go with the Eagles here. I'm going to lay the 9.5. This is as of showtime. That's what the line is. Now the line is 44. Okay? Again, just like I said about the Bills, the Eagles always have one game in December, whether they're a good team or a bad team, where they just lay the lumber on a visiting team. Well, guess what? This is the week it's going to happen. The Eagles are going to blow out the Washington no-names. So I'm going to take the Eagles laying the 9.5, and I'm looking up. I'm going to go over the 44 right now. Now, guess what? In 2 weeks, they play Washington no-names again, okay? Believe me, Washington's not going to forget this game. So hear me now. In a couple of weeks, the line may be flipped the other way. But this week, it's going to be all Eagles.
And those two teams, with the Giants out of the picture, those two teams could be vying for a wild card. It looks like a 500 or maybe a 9-8 season can get you a wild card in the NFC. So there are strong implications, especially it's another divisional game. Those are so important as the season winds down. So awesome analysis as always.
Hey, one more, and I know neither of us had this on our spotlight sheet, but for those that are listening, there is a game tonight. Okay, you got the Kansas City Chiefs on the road, travel to take on the LA Chargers. That game is on a little later tonight, right after the show. Eric, the line is set at Chiefs are favored, okay? Favored on the road here by 3.5. Points total set at 54. I don't have a lot of analysis. I broke the game down a little bit. I'm going to take the Chargers at home. getting the 3 and a hook, and I'm looking up. I'm going over 54. What do you say?
Okay, well, it seems like Mahomes and Tyreek are starting to click a little bit better. You still have Kelsey, Edwards-Helaire. There's no, I mean, you got Herbert on the other side, but it seems like the Chiefs are finally firing on all cylinders. I'm taking the Chiefs, and I am taking the over as well. But I don't believe that. There's no way that the Chargers are going to win outright at home. They're not, what's the line? 3.5?
It's 3 and a hook. Yeah, Chiefs are favorite, 3 and a hook.
Yeah, I think that Chiefs easily covering. I agree with you. It's going to be a shootout, and it's going to be the over. Definitely.
Perfect. All right, folks. Listen, that's going to put a bow on this, and we're going to head to the exit. So listen, again, we appreciate everybody tuning in. This week we hit a milestone. We got 500 followers on Twitter. Thank you very much. That was very nice to see today. And remember, all of our socials, the number 7 and the hook, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and go to YouTube and give us a subscribe. So hey, on behalf of Eric and everyone here at the 7 and a Hook podcast, we hope you have a great day. And as we always say, may your bad beats be small and your big wins be monster.
Thanks again for tuning in to the 7 and a Hook podcast. Until next time, may your bad beats be small and your big wins be monster.